Get your fish on, and Mr. Bass with the one and only Red Crest champion 2022 Major League Fishing. Whee! Look at it. He's at work right now. He's actually coming out of a meeting for his next tournament.
There it is.
Look at that. Another trophy.
That's from the team series that we did this year, and they just presented it here at the meeting in Osage Beach at Lake of the Ozarks.
Nice.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. It really, and it's heavy as hell too.
He's getting his work on it out in before the tournament even starts.
Yeah, that's awesome. You get one before the tournament starts. It doesn't get no better than that.
You can only do that every time.
Yeah, you're right. That would make it a lot easier. Just tell you won already.
Look, we're just giving this to you.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, guys. I really am, man. It seems like every time I'm at another event, the Red Crest I get to relive the Red Crest again. I really do. It's so cool. I mean, I was at the Pro Circuit last week over in Pickwick, and it was like getting to relive that again. And now getting to see all these guys for the first time in a while, it was pretty special, man. And got my man here, Justin Lucas.
Oh, I know this dude.
Driving the dirt braid truck.
Look at you, man.
Yeah, we got him to drive, and he actually remembered some new secret baits that I left on the table. I'm just a mess, man. I need a full-time follower because I leave everything.
You're not a bad driver.
See you guys, though, man. It's been a while. It's good to see you, and I want to personally thank what you guys do for the Bobby Lane Cup every year. You guys support that event, and we get a nice check from you guys. We never know the amount, but it's always more than what. It's a beautiful check. It pays for quite a few scholarships, and I want to personally, before we get into anything, let you guys know how much myself and all the staff members of the Bobby Lane Cup appreciate your support over the years.
You know you have it for forever. As long as we keep doing that gumbo cook-off, you're getting a check from us.
Well, you're going to keep doing that gumbo cook-off because there's a bunch of people in Florida that love to come and jam out and drink and have a good time. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let Mr. Bass have the first question because I probably know all the answers.
Yeah, Bobby, man, congratulations on the Red Crest. Just an amazing accomplishment. We're all in awe after watching that thing. And I just wanted to get right to the meat of the subject here. That last 4 minutes, how many times have you retold the last 4 minutes of that tournament? It's got to be one of the most epic endings of a professional tournament ever.
Yes, that is true. I think my beeper's fixing to go off on my truck here, so let's give it just a second before I answer that. But yeah, dude, that was like, there it is. You hear that?
Yeah.
I called it. I didn't want to. We got about I think I've timed it a 14-second delay here. So give me 12 more seconds and I'll finish answering that question because I've answered it many a times and I look forward to answering it again.
I have a question. Are you and Justin like rooming up, or are you and Chris rooming up?
We all do. Last week it was me, Chris, Cal, Lane, his son, and Justin all in one house at Pickwick. And up here the places are a little bit tighter. I don't mind saying it's hard to find one that has a lot of room in it. So we found a 2-bedroom, and Chris and Jared Littner actually found one. But wherever we are, we try to save as much money as we can and get a house that makes it convenient. And usually it's 2 or 3. That was my my Donald Trump pen. Did you hear that?
Oh man!
I didn't know what I grabbed, but yeah, let me get back
again.
to that. So the 2.5 minutes of a fish weighing 115, then finally going to 2 pounds. You couldn't have wrote the script any better. I swear on my life, I weighed one at Heavy Hitters just a week after, and it went 115, 114. I do know Justin sitting next to me here. He actually weighed one that went 115, and it went to 2 pounds. So it can go either way, but you know, for that to go down the way it did in the final minutes to make that the charge. I mean, it started with a 6-pound 3-ouncer and it went all the way into a 2-pound 1 ounce and then a 2-pound even. It was meant to be. And man, I'm telling you, I'm honored, I'm humble, and I'm glad to be your Red Crest champion for 2022 for sure.
Did you have a good practice? Did you know you were on them, or did the whole tournament kind of just fall into your lap?
I caught a lot of really nice ones in practice. I actually told my son after practice that I felt like I had a shot to win. I've had a lot of shots to win. We both know that. I've had my share of seconds, my share of top tens, but it's come down to the wire like that before with me. I've been so close, but then yet, you know, maybe not so far away, but so far away from a trophy and a big fat check like that one. And it hurts, you know. Seconds are great, third, fourth, fifth. It's a good tournament. You're not going to win them all, but man, I felt like I left a few out there, and that one was nobody was going to stop me. It was just my time, and you know, the grace of God and a little luck, and it went that scale went to. I actually, guys, I have the scale that fish was weighed on, and I'm mounting it right above the trophy. Let me get my camera right. I'm going to mount it right above the trophy when I actually get some time off back in Florida. We've been running so hard, but that scale's going to go right above that trophy, and I'm going to put a stuffed bass up there that looks like a 2-pounder.
Nice.
That is
I love
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's an awesome story. That's really cool. It is kind of eye-opening too when you mention it that a 2-pound fish could mean so much. 2-pound fish. Of course, lots of guys win by just ounces or even an ounce at times, but that's pretty epic.
Maybe he's lagging.
He's driving in those Ozark Hills.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys, I have been in the closest win was last year at Lake Travis. Me and Jacob Wheeler were 2 ounces separated between $100,000. 1 ounce, actually, if that fish doesn't weigh, I don't win that tournament. So I've seen some close ones before. I've lived in the closest one in the history of Bass Pro Tour, and now to actually come on the other side of it was super special. It's like God was just preparing for something for me to be used to something like that. I don't know. I can't explain it all. I just know that trophy looks good in my house back in Florida, and that check looked beautiful when it hit the bank.
Hell yes.
What was going through your mind when you knew that Wheeler was right on your tail? I mean, as successful as he's been the last few years on the tour, anything at all? I mean, I know when you guys are watching Score Tracker and you know who's behind you, what's that do to you mentally?
It makes you hungrier, man. It really does. It sometimes they, you know, in that one, they kind of got a pretty good lead on me, a 10, 12, 13-pound lead at one point. And man, it just deflates all your ability and your confidence. If you had any at all, it deflates it. And it's kind of like golf, man. If you have a bogey or a double bogey in the next hole, you have an eagle. I mean, that's the way my second period went. I was just playing bogey golf. And in that third period, the birdies and the barrage of eagles started happening with 2-pounders and 3-pounders and a 6-pounder. And once you get in that momentum, I didn't even ask about a score tracker. I knew Jacob Wheeler was leading. I knew Connell was above me. I knew Luke Clausen was above me. I mean, I was in 8th place going into that third period. So I knew I had one place to move, and that was up. I've made one top 10 this year. It was at the Red Crest. I've won one tournament this year, and it was at the Red Crest. So it was my time, guys. That's all I can say. Nothing from Wheeler, Connell, who's a defending champ. I mean, we had Jordan Lee in there, and we had Brian Thrift, and I mean, Michael Neal. I mean, the names go on. Andy Montgomery. The names go on and on and on and on. And you know, it was. I probably wasn't the pick of the day for sure, but at the end, we got her done. That Fritz Side 5 HD Brown. Look at it. Here it is, tattooed to my mirror. Look at that. I'll keep that thing. I got
Just
it on
take that.
forever. That's what got me to where I was, and then I picked up a jig late in the day with a Meaty Chunk Jr. on the back, and just to plucking away at some shallow covers. It was it all worked out. Did.
When you have a win like that, how? What is the next tournament like? Are you on this like all-time high where you just the ego in the head is like this and you're just like, I cannot do anything wrong? Or is there like a letdown that you're like, I need to just calm down and start and do what I do good? What happens the next tournament? I don't know what happened.
It's just part of the signal in the Ozarks, but it'll bounce back here in a second, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You guys tell me when.
We got you.
We got you.
You're back.
Okay.
Did you hear my question about what's the next tournament like? How's the? I mean, are you riding a roller coaster at that point? The next tournament, what happens? How you feel the next tournament? Is it just overflow of confidence?
So yeah, after the Red Crest, my fishing has been almost like I've given everything I had in that Red Crest, and I've kind of just been putting along, and I'm waiting for that next juice, for that next shot of adrenaline.
He's on that John Cox internet.
Kind of get me into another top. I'm still living on that Red Crest win for sure. In the moment, I just haven't been fishing 100% yet. I've had some really good practices. They haven't got to speak for themselves yet.
One thing that I was reading is that you know, and I watched it. I think a lot of our viewers watch it as well. But it seems like the vast majority of that tournament, you were throwing the crankbait, and then the last period, you totally switch it up and you go to the jig. And I even read something like you had the jigs on the deck maybe as a decoy at first.
Well, you're right. I had everything on the deck that week as a decoy. I was using all my rods and reels in my rod locker to hide those Fritz Side 5s HD Brown from anybody else that could actually see what I was throwing. I wanted to keep it mixed up. I had some Berkeley prototypes on my deck. I had the Stunna on there. I had the jig on there. I even think I had a couple of spinnerbaits tied on. And all I did was re-spool those Fritz Side 5 rods at Abu Garcia's every night. That's all I did, because that was the bait. That was the bait that got me the win for sure.
So what is it? I was talking to a buddy today about one of our friends that we all fish tournaments together, and he always beats us. I mean, the dude is just phenomenal. And we were saying, what is it that makes him so dang good? And you know, we kind of deduce two things. He follows his gut and he makes the right decisions at the right time. And it seems to me that's what you were doing when you went from the crankbait to the jig. When do you know to follow your gut? When do you know to make a change like that after you've been having so much success on the crankbait?
Well, I guess the answer would be when you absolutely get your rear end kicked in the second period, which was 2.5 hours. I hardly caught anything. When that happens, you realize, hey, if I don't do something different, I'm just going to keep beating what I don't think is working anymore. And it was in front of me. I just had to kind of look in front of me and say, okay, the fish have transitioned. And once I figured out that they had transitioned, I really was going into this one laydown with no confidence at all. I flipped in there kind of like, yeah, whatever, and my line jumped. And from then on is when my confidence shot out the roof, and I knew where I needed to be, and I knew that if I stayed in a foot or two of water from here on out, that I really did have a legitimate shot to win. But when do you make that decision? Guys, that comes from a lot of time on the water, raising water, lowering water, putting as much time as you possibly can, all times of the year, and kind of being a veteran in the sport. I feel like I can say that for sure, and been in those situations before when you see something deteriorating and then all of a sudden something else picking up. It's a fresh batch of fish that are going somewhere else, and when they're there, man, it's like clockwork.
Can we just talk about Score Tracker? I mean, do you like hearing where you're at? Do you not like hearing where you're at? Does it help you slow down? Does it make you speed up? What are your thoughts on the? I mean, we like to see it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the worst thing about Score Tracker, and some of the best, is when they say, Bobby Lane, you're in first place.
Yeah.
The worst thing about Score Tracker is when you start the day in about 15th place and you fall to the 20th position, and then you're in 22nd, and then they give you another update, and you're like, well, I know this can't be good because I haven't caught one. Bobby, you're now in 25th. Those are the most grueling Score Tracker update we'll ever get. But the ones when you're safe, it's the funnest program because you can actually maybe get a little more practice time in. So think about it. If you're we're in the event this week and I'm going to be in Group A, if I make the top 20 going into the second day that I fish, and I'm in, 5th or 6th place, and I got a 20-pound cushion, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's only going to take 20 pounds to get in, well, then I can go practice all day long and start maybe moving and learning what these fish are really going to do, set myself up for the knockout round and then possibly the championship round. So you got to take it both ways. But the Score Tracker is the most grueling piece of equipment in our boats when they say lines in, because when you get off to a bad start, you hate to get a Score Tracker update because everybody's catching them and you feel like you had a good practice and you're not catching them. So it goes both ways, guys.
I have a follow-up. Sorry, Mr. Bass.
No problem.
Do you want to get that like automatic bid to the finals, or do you want to actually continue to fish? Because it seems like the fish can change in that one day a lot of times.
Right.
So
run that first part of that question by me again.
Would you prefer to get the automatic bid and win your knockout round to go directly to the championship, or would you prefer to come in second and then continue to fish the next day?
So the only tournament you don't want to maybe make the automatic championship is heavy hitters. And that biggest bass actually pays 50 grand. But you can win 100 grand in the championship round and a shot to win 100 grand if you catch the biggest fish. So I would much rather go straight to the championship, just be guaranteed points, and you got a shot to win. What we've noticed, though, over the time is most guys that go to that automatic championship, they fall to the bottom of the pack in almost every time because they've been off the fish for 2 or 3 days and things change. So great question. I think I would rather go ahead and qualify for the championship and maybe make an adjustment on that day rather than trying to get through the knockout round, because let me tell you, these guys are as good as they get. The one sitting next to me, he's had 2 second places in a row. One at heavy hitters,
I know.
One at Pickwick last week. Justin Lucas has been on fire, and these guys are relentless, man. I mean, we might be rooming together this week, but I promise you, he's not giving me anything, and I'm out for blood myself,
Any side bet?
Like I even got him to laugh about it. Look at that.
He's trying to drive and pay attention to the road, and Bobby's talking about out for blood.
He's laughing about it. He's trying to drive. He's got my truck. He's probably trying to figure out how to get me out of my damn truck. Talking about taking his blood.
So, Bobby,
you to understand it and love it.
Yep, we do, man. It's a great sport. We, like I mentioned earlier, the Bobby Lane Cup, it's so nice to see the youth, to get involved with them, to see the excitement they have. So the future's bright for fishing. I mean, we're doing all we can over here at Major League to to make things better for everybody. Also, we just had a really good meeting, and it was, the future's bright.
I love it.
So speaking of youngsters, who is the up and coming, soon to be or future in the Lane family?
Well, mine is definitely would be on my list. He's 14 and a half years old, 14 and 3/4, but if
Oh, rats.
I had to pick 20, he's been on the pro circuit his second year. He just came nice check there at Pickwick last week. Man, I've seen a lot of kids with some drive, but he's got the momentum.
That's his nephew, by the way.
They're a fishing family, no doubt. I mean, there's going to be
The backing. His dad, Chris.
cool.
Yeah, dude, all good.
What
all
was
good.
it?
Cal Lane is a for sure. He loves it.
I remember when your brother won the classic, and you being on stage and being so proud of your brother, and it was like a joint win, even though it wasn't. I mean, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Having your brother come out up there when you win the Red Crest, how special was that, man?
It meant everything to me. I've gotten to shake the hands of the champions. I've got to watch a lot of champions go down. I got to watch my brother stand there when he won the Bassmaster Classic in 2012 in Shreveport. And now I got to live my time, and to have him there was super special. To have my family there was really cool. It means the world to us. It really does. My dad has got to be super proud to have two sons that are both world champions, and major champions. It means a lot, and they don't come often. I mean, we've been at this a long time, and it was nice to get mine this time. But to have my brother there, super special. To have him at every event is cool. We're actually lining up a tee time for Sunday already to go play golf. So it's we try to do things that we try to have fun out here. I mean, fishing's one thing, and practice is super important, but this means a lot to us, and we do the best we can with what we got. But it is nice having them on the road.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, which Lane brother is the best fisherman?
I can't answer that. I've had to answer that question 1,000 times. Guys, I'm telling you, we grew up fishing behind the same grandpa and the same dad all our lives. And Chris catches them in different ways, and I catch them my way. I'm gonna say that we are tie ball game. One year he outfishes me, and the next year I outfish him.
There's always a little bet there, though.
Always a bet. There's
always
to be a bet.
skin in the game.
That's what makes it fun.
So, what would you tell those youth anglers that wanna be the next Bobby Lane? What would you tell them what they should do to get themselves ready to make it to try to be a professional like you? What would you say to them?
Yep. Well, number one, I mean, sponsors are super important, but let's remember, guys, and I try to preach this anytime I talk to any young guys. I got into this because I like catching those green bass that swim in Okeechobee and Kissimmee. I love catching the brown ones that swim up north, and the spotted bass that swim all over too. I got into this because I love bass fishing. I loved catching fish. I remember the good times of all, you forget about the bad ones when you have good days. If you're getting into bass fishing, remember how much you enjoy fishing itself. So push some things off to the side and let your fish do the talking. Guys are going to remember you when your name's up top. They don't need the guy at the bottom because he can sell, a rod or a reel. They want the people that can catch fish and sell the rod and reel. So if you do the hard part first, which is catching fish, the sponsorship will fall in right in place, and you will learn how to become a better, let's call it ambassador to the sport as you catch more fish. So keep your line wet, let your fish do the talking, and the sponsors will come your way.
Awesome. I was kind of digging in some of your stats and stuff, and I can't tell since you've gone over to Major League Fishing how this falls. But when you were on the elites, you fished 148 tournaments and you were in the money 110 times, which is astounding. I mean, talk about amazing consistency. 110 out of 148 is phenomenal. And I mean, this has got to be one of the big secrets to being able to succeed in professional bass fishing year after year after year is figuring out how to be consistent. And what's your secret? How do you do that? Because you definitely have figured that out.
Now, sometimes I'd like to figure the secret out myself when I struggle 3 or 4 in a row, but it's trying to be versatile. That's what it is. Leave my I learned how to fish on Okeechobee, Lake Kissimmee out of Camp Mac. I've learned the Florida lakes pretty good. The flipping, the frogging, the swim bait and stuff like that, swim jigs, spinner baits. I needed to be a better finesse fisherman. I needed to learn how to fish clear water. And I took a beating in my first year on the FLW tour. I really did. I think I finished rough. I had some rough starts in the clear lakes. I wanted to learn how to fish the clear lakes. I got a few Abu Garcia spinning rod and reels. I didn't even know what braid was. I put some 8 or 10 pound test on them. I didn't do real well at all. And once I started doing it more, once I got my butt kicked more and more, I learned how to become a better finesse fisherman. Well, then I learned how to become a decent swim bait fisherman. And then I learned how the importance was of maybe fishing offshore, cranking, shallow cranking, deep cranking. And once I put it all together and once I started building confidence, I knew I could run up and down the lake about anywhere I want. And if the spot looked good, I could hit it, whether it had a fish on it or not. And over my career, that's kind of what I've done. If it looks good, I fish it. Even if I hit it, even if I didn't hit it in practice, I will drop waypoints in practice on stuff that I never even fish. I'm just saying it looks good and I don't want to waste a fish there today. And that's the kind of the way I've lived my motto, man. I mean, when I'm on them, I'm on them good. Usually I can catch them. If I got to script and scrap around, I usually can try to make it work sometimes. And sometimes when I get on a decline, that decline goes all the way to the bottom. I just never get it figured out. But, the older I get, I find myself kind of being more, put 4 rods on the deck instead of 10 rods. And I'm getting back into where I want 15 rods on my deck at all times, all retied, brand new from 20 foot up to the surface. I want to be ready for if anything happens. That's the way these young guys are fishing now. It's the way they're coming up in the Bass Pro Tour and the Pro Circuit, the Toyotas, the BFLs, the Elites, the Opens. They are hungry and they know a lot about forward facing sonar and the technology out today. Lawrence has got the active target. I mean, it's just made all of us become better fishermen.
Can you like, you got Justin next to you. He is arguably one of the best, not shallow, deep water, out there water, looking down at his Lawrence or whatever he's got and drop shotting and that stuff. Can you bounce off of him and go, and Justin's a good dude. Can you go, dude, what, did you bounce questions off him and get the answers you need?
I get the answers I need, but I can't duplicate what he's doing in the event because I don't know exactly what he's looking at during that given moment. He can say, yeah, I'm catching some on forward facing sonar. And I'm like, well, I'm not.
Yeah.
It actually deters me sometimes or makes a rougher tournament if I try to go and fish somebody else's fish. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. He does what he does and he's really good at it. And I do what I do and I try to be good at it. And, he might be fishing 5 foot of water too, but he might be fishing something that I'm not even considering looking at. So if you could put me and him in the boat together, I think it would be the dream team. But we both have to do what we're very comfortable with. And we get to chat a little bit on and off, just like me and my brother do. But for the most part, we try to keep it. I don't want to fish his fish and he doesn't. If I got nothing going at all, and he might say, go throw a green worm up in a tree or something, or throw it offshore on a hump in 16 foot of water. If I don't have anything going, what's that going to hurt? But for the most part, we fish our own fish.
Yeah. His offshore game is pretty darn good.
It's one of the best for sure. We've watched him dominate last week on on a place that's known for shallow water, and he's throwing at stumps out in front of him. I mean, he knows exactly what he's looking at, and he knows exactly where to throw. And it might take me a year to figure out what he's doing out there because he's done it that much.
How has that forward facing sonar changed the game for you?
It made a shallow water fisherman is better. That's all I can say. I asked Justin about that. I said, what's this forward facing sonar doing? And he goes, it's making you guys learn how to fish better offshore, and it's killing us. But then again, it can go both ways. I mean, it really can. It can go both ways. Just because it looks like it's on there, you still got to get that fish to bite. And I'm really looking forward to some time off this summer and even into the fall a little bit. Me and my son, we're going to go to some lakes around the house, and I really want to put my time in on that active target and learn everything I can about it.
Yeah, you're heading in the house.
I am. I'm in the house now. I don't need to burn no more gas. Lord knows that cost enough just to let that thing idle.
For sure. One thing I wanted to ask you is, we're avid anglers. We love to fish, but our fishing just isn't on the same level as it is for you guys. And one of the things I heard you say about the tournament itself was when you got to Grand Lake, you noticed the buddies and on the dogwoods. And I thought, oh man, this is a light bulb moment right here, because how many guys look at the trees to figure out how they should be catching the fish? And I wanted to ask you to just talk about that for a minute, because that is amazing stuff, really.
Well, I've never ever told anybody or any interview about the buddies, and I told myself I would never let anybody in on that secret unless it paid off.
It is me.
To mention the word buddies, I'll do it for $300,000 in the Red Crest title again for sure. But yeah, it's always been something I've looked for, man. I look for little things like that to give me the confidence to go out there and fish the way I want to fish. And I saw those little buds coming, and I said, it's been warm enough, or these trees wouldn't be blooming. The days were getting longer. It really set up to be a shallow crank and bite, and it was, with the water, we had a big storm come through, and it took that place a while for that water to raise. And then when it came way, way up, those fish went up to the bank. And but that Fritz side 5, it got me to where I needed to get, into that last hour of the tournament. And you end up sealing the deal, pitching a jig around and chunking that Fritz side 5. But it just, I didn't want a forward face sonar fish. I really wanted to fish, just dirtier water and crank. And usually when you see those buddies, the bigger fish start to target towards the back first. And that's exactly what happened. I had a 5.3 in that tournament, a couple over 4. I had a 6.3, a lot of big, heavy 3s. I mean, I was catching some nice quality fish. And one day I think I caught them at the end of the second period. I didn't even have to catch a fish in the third period in the knockout round. That's what it was. I mean, they were moving in like crazy. And I had that whole end of that lake to myself in that one creek. And the more I was in there, the more the water raised, and that water temp got warmer and warmer. I think those fish it was the perfect storm for me to be in that creek at the right time.
That's awesome. Okay, maybe we should let him go early, but I know before we let him go, we have to talk about what happens. You mentioned it earlier. Bobby Lane Cup. Tell everybody that's going to watch us later on now. Tell everybody all the amazing things you and your beautiful wife and everybody does to help all those kids out and what that tournament means to you.
Yeah. Well, number one, there is no I in Cup. It's got my name on it, but it takes about 30 or 40 of us to put that on. It takes guys like you to sponsor the event so we can continue to give out the scholarships. But it will take place again the first week in December down at Camp Mac, a Guy Harvey River Resort, in December. Anybody is welcome to sign up to come fish the event. Juniors and seniors, we will award scholarships to. We gave a little over $30,000 away last year. It was our 10th anniversary and the biggest ever. Our scholarship numbers or prices are actually, our dollar amounts up for scholars are actually going up a little bit. which is good, kind of like inflation. You know, we're trying to keep up with the times, but we've had some really cool sponsors kick in, and we're trying to, you know, give the money back. We don't we have no intentions of except for running on a great event. But guys, for free food, free lunch, free dinner, you get a goodie bag that looks like you just left the biggest tournament of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You get to meet all your buddies. We get some local pros and some people like my brother, Cal Lane, Mike Iconelli's been there before, JT Kenny, Shaw Grigsby, Scott Martin, people like that come to this event to support the high school. The youth, we weigh in at 12:30. We do the high school at, you know, I think 1:30, and we do a Phoenix boat giveaway. We give away a brand new Phoenix boat with the trophy catch program. You just got to catch a fish 8 pounds or bigger and submit. You get an automatic submit into trophy catch, and that gets you a chance to win that free boat. But it's something that's dear and passion to me. My brother runs a fish camp in
Oh, I think someone just called him.
It's funny the video's working, but the sound's not. Normally it.
Yeah, chicken fried steak. We'll say goodbye to him here.
Yeah. Well, everybody that's on can watch him talk. Yeah, Booster, we know there's no audio. We can't hear either. He probably just needs to move a little bit where he's standing. Just nudge over a little bit, Bobby. That was an amazing win he had on.
Your sound died. Did you get a call while we were on? You might be able to hear. It's all right. The sound died. We'll say goodbye. We can't hear you, but I'll tell everybody to go to the Bobby Lane Cup and all that good stuff. And we appreciate the time, brother.
Did I lose volume?
Oh, there we go. We got you now. Yeah, we lost your sound there. But we got the gist of it. I mean, we did get the gist of it, and then you got about halfway through it.
You guys hear me?
Yeah. Hear you now.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh. Well, we'll say goodbye and say thank you. I'll text you.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby. Appreciate it.
See you
Good
guys.
luck.
Thanks for having me on, man. You guys are awesome. I lost the volume there, but I wish you the guys. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this week in Osage Beach. I'll be home back in May. If you guys need anything, ring me up. What an awesome show you got, and look forward to being on again soon.
Later. Thank you.
Go Gumbo Wars, and everybody show up down there so we can keep supporting the kids at the Bobby Lane Cup. I love it, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Thanks,
Dave. Later.
See you. All right.
So if I you know, I don't think people know. Bobby and I are very close friends. Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
So it's always I don't even know how to explain it. You know a little bit more than the average person. So when I have questions that I need to know about what's going on in the industry, Bobby's someone that I bounce questions off of. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's always very honest, and we've been very close friends for years, and it's always fun to have him on. And you know, he's just really a good dude. Him and even his brother. In all honesty, it was great that Justin was there because I've been hounding Justin to be on. So now I'm going to text Justin tonight and say, you're going to be on now. You were on briefly there.
Heck yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, that was awesome. You know, that win of his is going to go down in history as one of the most amazing wins of all time.
Yeah, you know what? I think let's be honest. I think the one thing that that Major League Fishing is kind of missing is the drama that
Yeah.
happened with the 5 fish that come off across the stage, like the lead.
Yes. Yeah.
And this was the first tournament where there was actually as much drama in that last few minutes as any elite tournament. And I think that helps Major League Fishing, because I feel like there's a disconnect with Major League Fishing and the fans at this point in time. I think there's too many rule changes that Major League Fishing does, and that whole, walking across the stage, that kind of stuff. But, and this is just my opinion, I think Major League Fishing has the named anglers that are really the best of the best.
Right. No doubt.
Having said that, I mean, what Bass is considered still doing, or is still doing at this point in time, with the amazing anglers that they brought up and now are in that group, is pretty damn impressive, for sure. I mean, Bass isn't going.
I think so too, but I was kind of surprised by Ken last week when we had him on. He kind of made it sound like the elites are really subpar compared to Major League Fishing. He kind of, and that's kind of the impression I got from him, was that Major League Fishing is, they're just kind of like the world is their oyster, man. They're on a path to control everything.
Well, I think in the past, Bass, that was their goal. There was when they went to Major League Fishing. I have a fly in my room and it's making me crazy. Hold on 1 second.
Oh man, he's
Got
totally lost. That's like squirrel.
And when the Major League Fishing started, the Bass Pro Tour, and all those 68 anglers left the elites to go over there, there was a lot of anglers that had went out and got a sponsor, and then out of nowhere, Bass kind of finagled their way in and said, look, you'll get a better deal to be with us instead of just with one angler. And it isn't just one person that said that to me over 12 years of talking to them. It was a lot of them. And I think that it took away money from those anglers. And I think that was some of the problem that was there. But you got to remember, like Jim just said, I mean,
little bad blood there.
You want to know, Ken left on great terms, and Ken used to write a lot of articles for Bass. And
right, I know he did.
When Major League Fishing started Major League Fishing, they kind of were like, look, you can't go both. You can't go here and you can't go there. And I think at some point in time, Ken was just like, okay, fine. I really don't need, you're not paying me that much to write an article.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And you want to know what? Because I'm going to always stick up for Ken, but I'm going to say one thing. Ken is old school. So all those guys that are on Major League Fishing are very dear friends to Ken, like Kevin Dam and
right.
Especially like you probably would never realize it, but him and Edwin are like this.
Yeah.
So he's always going to go towards where his good friends are. It's like Ken and I mean, as much as we bust each other's chops, I know when I call Ken to ask for something or need anything, Ken does it immediately for me. And he's just a great dude and just a close friend. So he's always going to have our backs, especially yours too. So, he's always going to be MLF based, I think. But most of his friends are over there.
Gotcha. Steven, he left 5 minutes ago. You just missed him.
Yeah. We didn't keep.
All right.
It was kind of a little awkward there when he got in there. I kind of felt I know we made it real short there, but I kind of felt like everybody else was in that conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Yep.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, they missed the beginning when he first came on. He was actually in the meeting, and he was walking out of the meeting with his trophy, And so that's when we started a minute or two late to let him get outside and get to the truck. But a lot of golden nuggets in there in that half hour that we spent with him for sure.
Hey, Jim, I should say Ken doesn't think that the college programs have no effect. He thinks that they have an effect, but the people running the college things are making a lot more money than anything else that they're doing. That's what Ken thinks.
Yeah.
Ken is very opinionated, but you want to know what the thing is with Ken is you're going to hear it exactly 100% truth. He isn't exaggerating what he says to you or how he says it. He's completely true all the way to the bone. You might not like his opinion, but his opinion is true.
Yep, for sure.
So we have one other topic.
Yes. Pretty good topic, I think, really.
Yeah,
if you like tournament fishing, it's a good topic.
Yes, I would like to know Jim's opinion on this. So NPFL had a tournament this weekend, which literally no one knew about. I don't know why. It is what it is. But one of the biggest names in fishing, I think we can agree that Patrick Walters is a star.
Yes.
Made his first tournament on NPFL. With, we can say the NPFL is just a lot of great anglers. I'm not taking anything away from the anglers, but it's a lot of weekend warriors that are above. They're above us. They're above us, or they're above me anyway. Let me just say that.
Me too. For sure.
But Patrick Walters has his first tournament on NPFL, second place. Is the league? Is it the league? And by the league, I say the NPFL, the whole league, versus one guy in Patrick Walters.
The entire league. How many anglers are there over on the NPFL anyway?
115 against 1.
Holy moly, 115 against 1. Well, if you go through the roster, here's the sad truth over there. If you want to talk truth, is how many names of the 115 do you even recognize? And you know way more than the average Joe does when it comes to the names and details of tournament fishermen. So you're the guru. How many of those 115 do you really know?
So I only know, before NPFL started, I knew one person.
Wow.
When they announced the league, I did all my research, and there was a bunch of people I didn't know. I knew Keith Carson because we were friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then I met John Cox too.
Yeah.
I met Jeff Fritz, who I love. I love Jeff Fritz. So there were a few people that I did interviews with that I got to know and still follow up with. But it's really a no-name league of, and I don't want anybody killing me over this. It's a no-name league of anglers. And when you have Patrick Walters in there, who's a top 5 elite guy.
Yeah.
Where do you, John Sokup is amazing too.
Yeah.
Where do you put Patrick Walters versus the rest of the anglers? That's my question to you. Where do you put Patrick Walters? Obviously, he's the best angler. Yes. But is it the league versus Patrick Walters?
Well, that's amazing to think about because it doesn't seem possible. But I would have to say, yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like, when a guy, in some ways you could make the same argument about Jacob Wheeler. Last year it was almost like the entire Bass Pro Tour against Jacob Wheeler. He could not be beat, We're kind of putting the cart for the horse in front of the horse maybe with Patrick since he's only fished one tournament there. But, man, everything points to that. Everything points to the fact that you and I talked about this. I think there was like what 5 elite level guys that were going to go over to the NPFL before
Yeah.
they had their championship debacle, and then after that, those guys kind of I think backed off and changed their mind. But any of those guys, if they'd gone over there, we could say the same about any of those guys. Those 5 that were going to hop over. Patrick did it, and the fact that none of the others did is even more amazing for him. I mean, he's got a shot to win the rest of these tournaments, and if not win, he can lock up Angler of the Year without even
miss the tournament.
Yeah, and miss a tournament and not even think about it.
Okay, I gotta ask. But let's just say, because we're speculating, let's just say he wins, he finishes in the top 5 for the next 4 tournaments.
Yeah.
What does that say about that group of anglers that are fishing against him? And I mean, he won 20 grand. If the guy, I don't even know the guy's name who won, if he doesn't have an absolute ridiculous final day, he doesn't win. Walters wins.
Yes.
Very first tournament. And he won 20 grand the first tournament.
Yeah. And quite frankly, when you have, even the best guys will usually admit that when you have one of those magical, crazy days where your limit is just like off the charts, mind-blowingly large compared to the rest of the field, that's just luck. It's an anomaly. I mean, it just, it happened. Awesome. Take credit for it. But quite frankly, you're not going to repeat that every day of the tournament. So it was just the fishing gods were shining down on him.
See, I think I'm not. Again, I'm gonna preface this so many times. I'm not taking anything away from those anglers at all. They're better anglers than me. I have no problem admitting that. And I want all of them to do well. But here's a perfect way. I had Brandon Card, who's a great angler, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Brandon has never won a tournament. He's a great fisherman. Won Rookie of the Year years ago.
Yep.
He and I went and fished. He stayed at the house for, I want to say 7 days. I don't even know how many days it was. And we fished like 3 consecutive days and filmed and did a bunch of stuff. In one of those days on a pond on a lake I knew very, 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 very well, I said, we should have a little tournament between the two of us. He said, if you want the front of the boat, I'll take the back of the boat. And I thought, what the heck? You think you're crazy? You really think if you let me have the control of this boat, I'm running you over. You're never getting a cast off. You're not doing nothing. He absolutely annihilated me from the back of the boat.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. And I haven't heard this story, by the way, but
even fair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the heck? And at one point in time, I'm like, what are you using? And he's like, oh, I'm using some jig, something. I'm like, I'm using the exact same jig. What are you doing differently than me? He's like, well, I just cast better than you. I'm like, I fit and I at him and I told him he wasn't allowed to spend the night and all this other stuff. But how well those guys are compared to us.
It's amazing. I had the same thing. I had the same thing happen to me. I was fishing an open as a co-angler, and Jeff Crete was the pro. And of course, he was fishing for money, as was I, but he was controlling the boat. He had total control. But there was one spot where he stopped around a dock, and it was about 25 foot deep of water, and there was a school of fish down there. And he broke out, I can't remember if it was a Ned rig or a shaky head, whatever the bait was. I think it was a Ned rig, actually. I broke out the exact same bait. Okay. I threw the exact same lure, and he knew it. He said, it's cool, fine, go ahead, throw right in there. It's fine. And this is no lie, man. Every 2 casts he caught a fish, and probably every 10 to 20 casts I caught a fish. That's no lie. He was beating me at least 10 to 1. And it was amazing because I was watching what he did, and I literally could not see him doing really much of anything different than me. He's just a better freaking angler. There's no question. These guys are phenomenal. Their talent level is unreal.
Exactly. So I'm going to go completely a different way on this. So Chef Bob of the Boathouse and I are, one of my better friends. So Chef Bob sees Thomas and I going fishing on, like, I don't even know what Thomas, I don't know if I did a video or something. He's like, where are you and Thomas going? I'm like, we're going into, there's a community here in Orlando in Central Florida called Heathrow. And it's got a fantastic golf course, but they have hundreds of ponds around every house. And one of my friends buys a house in there, and I call him up. I said, hey, you remember when I did all this stuff for you? I said, put me on the permanent list on the thing, because it's a gated community. So Thomas and I go out there, and Thomas is just whacking a fish, just not stop on a worm. So Bob calls me and is like, I need to go fish with you and Thomas in Heathrow. And I'm like, okay. So we fish this bank. We go all the way down this bank. Thomas is in front of me. It goes Thomas, Bob, and me. And Thomas is just, like every 3 or 4 casts, Thomas catches one. And now Bob is a really good angler, but I was telling Bob, Thomas is unbelievable with an 8-inch worm. He just has the patience. He's shaking it right. He does it. He feels the bite. It's perfect. Bob says to Thomas after like 13 or 14 fish, Bob's behind Thomas. He says to Thomas, you need to show me what you're doing. And Thomas said to him, I'm casting, and then I'm just shake, 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 and stopping, and shake, 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 and stopping, and then I'm reeling in.
Uh-huh.
And, this is the same thing that's happening with these guys.
Yeah.
You get, there's certain times certain anglers are just that much better, and that's where, going back to Patrick, I mean, there's guys on there, Soak Up, Carson. There's a lot of guys that are great. Some of those guys are great anglers, but there's a lot of guys on there that we've never heard of, never won any money, and they're still paying $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
And like
Drew Six is one of them I've never heard of. He won the tournament.
Yeah, he beat Patrick.
Yeah.
But I want to know if you think it's the whole league versus Patrick. That's my gut.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong about that. I think, boy, wouldn't that be something? That would be a story to tell. Now, as Jim says, boy, that would end up really hurting NPFL's credibility. Maybe it would, but it might bring a lot of attention to it. If you're, even if you're not following NPFL, if you get the word, hey, Patrick Walters has won 3 in a row, tournament number 4, you're probably going to be watching just to see, holy cow, will he do it again? There's something about a winner. Everybody loves a winner. And, it would be very, very fun and intriguing to consider.
So I'm just on the national. I'm looking at my screen over here. Sorry, the National Professional Fishing League got less than 1,000 views for their last tournament.
Huh. Yeah.
On the show Saturday.
I got to admit, I didn't even know they fished a tournament, and I follow fishing pretty closely, but I guess it hasn't done enough to interest me yet.
Well, having Patrick on there could really help with your credibility.
It could.
But the problem is that if Patrick comes over and just dominates, and let's just be honest, having a second place is starting to dominate right off the bat. That's not full domination, but that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He goes the rest of the thing and makes 4 or 5 more top 5s. I mean, what does that say about the rest of those anglers? And not to mention, I'd be pretty pissed off that you were taking money out of my away from me and my family.
Yes.
If you're going to do that well, and we're speculating, that hurts the rest of the guys. I mean, it helps them in some instances, but it doesn't. So I honestly believe it's Patrick Walters versus the league. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, that's
I hope he does dominate.
something that's so crazy because it's something that would just be we've never seen it. We've seen guy like Wheeler win 3. Did he win 3 last year? He did, didn't he?
And now think of what Wheeler's done in the last few years with the competition level on Bass Pro Tour. I mean, hey, what happens if Jacob Wheeler joins the NPFL?
Holy crap! Oh, I mean, it wouldn't even be a. I mean, it would be a beat down. That's all I can say. It would be a beat down.
I mean, I don't think Booster's right. I don't think it would ever happen.
I don't either. I don't think it would. I mean, quite frankly, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it at all.
Well, like Patrick Walters, is it like free money him joining that league?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's got to be what he's thinking is, and the more money you make, the more exposure you're going to get. It's got to help. But that's a fun topic to speculate about for sure.
Hold on.
Okay. So let's see. Comments aren't not a lot of comment questions tonight. Yeah, it's funny. There are great anglers that aren't in the professional leagues. I know that. I mean everybody knows that there are some, but what's interesting is that's one of the. I can't read it.
I just texted Patrick Walters.
Oh, any shot of doing an interview on Wednesday? Perfect. We talk a lot about. I've heard this from I don't know how many people. There are a ton of awesome anglers out there that could compete at the elite level and just don't.
Yeah.
And that is true. But when they were starting NPFL, I remember listening to an interview of the guys, the creators of it, that were saying that's kind of what their line was. They were saying there are a ton of talented anglers that could compete at the highest level, but because of their work schedule and because of cost constraints and those kinds of things, they're just never going to have a shot at the elites. So what our format is designed to do, it's designed to bring those guys who are really elite caliber anglers that still have to work a job.
Yeah.
They still, and we're really mindful of the fact that they've got to keep their jobs, and we're gonna arrange these tournament structures so that they can still fish at an elite level and still go back home and work their jobs. Well, how many of those are elite level guys? Now that we've seen them and we've seen them fish for now they're in the second year, it doesn't seem to be following the narrative as much as you would think.
Making the elites is freaking hard work.
Yes, it's hard.
The
it is.
Lions are unbelievable amount of exceptional anglers. There's anglers that have been trying to qualify for the elites for years. I mean, Latimer, there's Hackney made it, and some of these guys made it. They're elite anglers. Those guys are a different breed of fishermen.
Right.
And that's the craziest thing about what NPFL is doing is, they're giving the average Joe, average working Joe, the opportunity to get it, but to make money and become a professional fisherman. But a majority of these guys still have a daily 9-to-5 job every day.
Right.
There's very few of those guys that are doing it that are getting enough sponsorship money or winning enough money that they can still do that they can only fish. Where no joke, a majority of the elite guys, that's all they do is they just strictly fish.
Right.
They fish and they promote their sponsors.
Here's the other thing. The NPFL guys, let's talk about John Sukup for a minute. He went to NPFL and he had 2 wins last season, and he'd had an amazing season.
Amazing.
Right? Okay. So if he continues to win like he's doing, what's that going to lead to? Here's the reality. It's going to lead to him leaving the NPFL and going to the elites or going to the Bass Pro Tour. Ultimately, I think what you're probably going to find is that the NPFL ends up being a league of guys that really aren't at the elite level, and the ones that are going to work their way out of it.
Well, anybody from NPFL still has to go to the Opens to qualify.
Yeah, I know they do.
So
but
they could join. I think even some of them are. I was going to ask Bobby this about. He's fishing BPT, but he's also fishing that MLF Big Five or whatever it is.
Yeah, Tackle Warehouse.
Tackle Warehouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be. They could go to hopefully that, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to say the anglers that I know tried to get into the Big Five last year or Tackle Warehouse, but none of them made it. I know of 5 that attempted to go there because after everything that was going on with NPFL at the end of last year, they were unsure if NPFL was going to continue after everything that happened last year. So, but they couldn't get on the Tackle Warehouse thing. So, Keith Carson got in, but he got in as a sponsorship exemption. So
right.
Even that you still have to qualify to get into. So, I think we can agree we all want NPFL to succeed, but it's a tough course for them. I think so.
Yeah, I think the jury's still out on that. Really, really is.
I'm just out of curiosity, Jim. Where's Soak Up in Angler of the Year for Opens right now?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Oh, he's in second place right now.
Yeah,
he's in second place because I think Kenta's already qualified.
He's got a really good shot.
And he's an elite angler. He should be on the elites.
I think he should too. I mean, this is the cream rises to the top, and you can tell these guys. It doesn't take long for you to start saying, "Oh, yep, there's one of them. That is one that is elite level talent," and the rest of them are kind of. But I do think NPFL is a great opportunity for these working anglers that really want to get into professional fishing, as long as they can afford the entry fees, because the entry fees are pricey.
Well, I mean, I think this is the first tournament that Patrick paid $5,500 to be in the first one. He won $20,000. That's a lot of money. Don't get that. But you win second place in the elites, and you're $50,000 or $60,000 at least.
Yeah, and first in NPFL is $50,000.
Yeah, second place was $20,000.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty interesting comment Mike Dove had there about the professional fishing is so much like professional racing. Work meets advantage of it. Yeah, I think that is really true. The downside to professional fishing is when the opportunity rears its head, you got to jump on it right then because it may never happen again. And a lot of these guys that made it to the elites because a bunch of guys left the elites and went to a brand new Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour, that was their opportunity, and the smart ones took it. And some of them are already gone. They couldn't last very long, but to do it. So,
yeah. I like Tom's thing about the average fan can't name 20 anglers, and then of course Hellabass is like, I could probably name 150. I think he probably could. Hellabass knows his stuff, man.
Rich Hellabass is not the average guy though. He does a lot of tournament fishing himself, and who knows? Maybe Hellabass wants to try it. Put his hat in the ring someday.
If he's on here, would he ever go fish NPFL? I'd like to know that answer.
How about it, Hellabass? Would you ever try it? Head over to the NPFL. If you had $30,000 drop in your lap, that you just burning a hole in your pocket,
Would you go?
would you do it? I have one acquaintance that went to the NPFL, and he told me that he's had a lot of success on the crappie side, but he told me, I want to learn how to become a professional bass fisherman, and I feel like this is one of the best ways to do it. And that might be right. It might be not be a bad strategy if you've got the money and you've got the time and you're trying to hone up your skills and become a better professional angler to get to the next level. Maybe that's another one. Hellabass says he would fish the opens.
So would I. I wouldn't join that league if you paid me.
Heck yeah, Hellabass, you join the opens and I'll be your co-angler. That'll work.
And I like the guys from MPFL. I think Keith Carson's one of the best anglers I've ever met. I think John Soka is another one.
Yeah, Keith needs to get on the show. He was going to hop on with us, and something happened. But
we had him. He was doing that house.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that
was actually good. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was really good.
Good dude. It's not even funny. So yeah, well, I mean, I like I said, I think it's an interesting topic to talk about. Without catching too much grief, because I mean, I talked about MPFL last year, and then I got called by the owners and yelled at and screamed at. I don't want that to happen. I'm not trying to stir that. I don't want controversy clicks.
Yeah.
Well,
one thing that Bobby said tonight was, and you hear a lot of pros say this, time on the water. It's all about time on the water. And I definitely agree with that. Who am I to disagree when it comes to that? The more time on the water, obviously, the better you're going to get at fishing. But I fished enough tournaments and watched enough professional anglers, though, to know that it's not just about time on the water. You need a lot of time on the water, no doubt about it. But I am amazed at a guy who can somehow figure out how to win or compete at the highest level no matter what. Just like my buddy that I was talking about. This dude goes with us. We all go fish these co-angler events, and we're all fishing the same lake. It's the same day. Now, are we on a different boat? Yes, we're on a different boat. I'm telling you what, this dude always catches them. Always. And so many times he outfishes his boater. He outfishes his pro. And it doesn't matter how bad the conditions are. It doesn't matter how bad his pro is. I mean, a lot of times his pro won't catch any fish, and he still catches fish behind the guy. Yeah. The dude has this natural ability that is unexplainable. He's just got it.
I like that, man.
It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing to me.
Okay.
He holds his mouth right, Carol.
Fishing the South. Come on in, Bubba. Fishing the Southeast asks, if you could fish for 8 hours with anyone in the world, who would it be?
Well, Thomas. I want to fish with Thomas and learn that worm technique. That's what I need to do. I got to find out how to catch a fish every third cast. Your dad says you're amazing.
When you were fishing against Uncle Bob in Heathrow, you whooped him. He had to pay for dinner. I love you. Have a good night.
Cool.
I love you very much. I love you. Sleep well. Okay, watch that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
They swimming today, they had to swim, so they put on a parachute behind them, like a little parachute like this big.
Oh, really? So they're swimming with drag.
Yeah, and then they had to get out and do 5 push-ups, and they had to do like 50 laps of them.
Wow. Crazy.
Insane today. Okay, so if you could fish with anyone 8 hours, who would it be?
I think Steve Chapman.
I mean, seriously, who would you fish with?
I mean, I don't care about fishing with the pros, man. I've done it. It's I'm not trying to be glib about this, but I really do not have anybody I care about fishing with. Would I turn it down? You know, if KVD pulls up, no, I'd love to go fishing with him. But I just, I don't know. It's just not something I care about. I guess fished with a lot of these guys on the opens now. I mean, you know, what about you? Have you got someone that you'd just be maybe Bill Dance, because you know one of the old legends, Bill Dance, or you know, that would probably be fun.
Yeah, I think there's like some celebrity guys that I think might be fun to fish with, just because I think they'll probably be the same. Maybe I'll be slightly better than them at fishing.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun to do. Yeah, I mean, I can. I've been with KBD and Ike and Ellie and those guys, and you know, they're absolutely ridiculous, amazing. Like KVD, his sight fishing is so much better than people have even a clue on how well he can see a fish. And I think I see fish really well, because when we go red fishing, it's all sight fishing. But getting on the boat with him and watching him like pick off fish from like 20, 30, 40 feet away, and I'm doing one of these bits. I'm like, my sunglasses suck. And I know sunglasses don't suck. But I mean, you know, you want to know what I think have we ever had Andy Mill on the show? So Andy's used to be a really close friend. I think that would be the person I want to have go fishing with. Because he's fished with President Bush and a whole bunch of other people. And his stories about going fishing with people is just unbelievable.
Yeah. You know, the other.
He's a guy nobody even knows about. He's Olympic medalist for skiing. He was married to, I don't even know, she's a famous Steph Graf for tennis. And just one of the nicest guys in the world. I have a story about him that he and I used to call each other all the time and just bounce ideas off each other. And one day he called me and was talking about he was going to start a podcast. I'm like, oh, this is what you need to do, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he's like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I'm like, you know, I got to take Thomas to school, do this. He's like, oh, no. I want to know if you want to hop on a plane, go all the way to Colorado and go elk hunting with me. I'm like, tomorrow? He's like, oh, we'll get it all lined up. I'm like, unbelievable. No, I can't do that. So, yeah, we should have him. He would be somebody you would be amazed to talk to, but he's not a freshwater fisherman. He's a saltwater fisherman. But he's just an amazing angler. We have a gold, I don't even know, it's the gold something down here. And he won it like 4 or 5 years in a row, fly fishing. And it's one of the most competitive fly fishing tournaments in the world. And to win it 5 years in a row, it was just stupid. We were all like, okay, something's going wrong here.
Wow.
He's really just that good of an angler.
You know, one thing about fishing alongside a professional angler, you really don't want to be fishing with them if they're competing and you're trying to fish. They're just going to make it impossible for you to catch fish. I mean, they're going to block you off. They're going to short boat you. They're going to do everything they can in their power to make sure you don't catch a fish while they do. So if you wanted to learn some amazing stuff, you know, riding along as a marshal or something where you're not really fishing, you can watch them, you can observe them, you can talk to them, and some of them will actually really talk to you the whole time, which is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what fun fishing would be like with them. You fun fished with a lot of pros. I've never fun fished. I've just done it in tournament settings. But maybe in a fun fish where they're not really competing, they're still competitive dudes though.
Yeah.
There may be a few of them that really spend a lot of time trying to show you the ropes and that kind of stuff. But
The first time when we had the radio show going, the first time we had Jacob Wheeler on, that was the first time I ever thought to myself, I'm really not a very good angler, because he said some things in the 15 minutes that he talked, because we had, or maybe it was 21 minutes. We had to take breaks all the time, commercials. It was ridiculous.
yeah,
And I always felt like I didn't want to keep the angler to sit through 7 minutes of commercials to it. So I would knock him off after that 20 minutes or whatever it was. But in that 20 minutes, I remember the first time talking to him and thinking to myself, I'm really not that good of an angler, because what he's saying is completely new to me.
yeah.
Way. So I think Wheeler would be a lot of fun to fish with. I think you'd learn so much from him. It would be
I
cool.
think you would too. I think it would be fascinating to sit in the boat with him for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're fishing alongside him, he ain't going to let you catch anything.
I mean,
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, when money's on the line, it's a way of fishing.
That's right. It's different. It is different.
Yeah. I think the martial way of doing things is is a good opportunity to learn, and really, when you're martial, you can ask a lot of questions as they're fishing, and that does help.
Yeah, I did that. I've done that several times, and I think it's about $150 now. It used to be $100 to be a marshal. So you pay whatever it is, $150, and if it's a 3-day tournament, I don't know what it's like on the BPT side, but on the elites, the way it worked is if it was a 3-day tournament, you were guaranteed to be with someone the first 2 days, and then of course they've got the cut, so they're not going to need all the marshals. Then they have kind of a lottery. Everybody just puts in if you want to fish, if you want to be a marshal on the last day, and then they do kind of a lottery with a drawing, and then if you get your name drawn, then you fish the final day, or you go with the final day.
Yeah, the marshal. Being a media marshal, has been a lot of fun for me. I mean, I've done that a lot of times. I did that at Classics though, and I've been really, I've been with Palaniuk, Christie, Atafo. I don't even know who else. So I've been with a few of the really good ones, and you really get a better understanding on just how good of an angler these guys are when you get to sit in the boat and watch them. So that's the whole thing.
Gotcha. Pretty much, Julie. That's it. If you're willing to pay the money and they got an open slot, you get to be one. It's nothing else.
And they used to have for the marshals years ago that you would get a pretty darn good goodie bag that covered, you got a bunch of stuff from sponsors in it to be a marshal. Now I don't know if they do it anymore.
I never did. What they did was they gave you a hat and a T-shirt basically, and that was it.
I got a whole hook rain gear one year.
Oh dang, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever worn it. I don't even know where it is. So.
That's funny. Well, what do you got going on the rest of the week? I'm
trying to get over this back issue, man. I don't know if you can tell. I took just a few weeks ago.
I know, man. You hurt your back, and it's. Do you think it's improving or what?
Oh, it is improving. It definitely is improving. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 100% there. I mean, last week, man, I bet I didn't sleep 20 minutes last week. And that's the whole week.
Mike, we had a long conversation about the rat Benny a few weeks ago after he caught like giant after giant after giant, and I still don't have one. That's a crying shame right there.
I don't even know where mine went. Oh, it's right here. There's 2 lures. There's the rat Benny.
Oh yeah. There it is.
I did a closer look of it. It's actually it's online for members. And then I updated it because I realized I didn't have the right footage in there. great. This is a great bait. This is really, really a great bait.
I
I
can't
like.
wait. I can't wait to get one of those.
I kind of keep my. It was Chris Everett, not Steffi Graf. Thank you, Booster. I keep my rod tip up, and you can keep it right on top of the water. And if
Yeah.
you keep the rod tip down, you can get it to go about 2 inches deep, maybe 4 inches deep, maybe.
Okay.
And they give you an extra replaceable tail. I don't know how you put the tail on, but this is the original tail, and it just has really good action. But I haven't fished it recently. I haven't. This is the first time in I haven't fished in probably 10 days.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dang.
yeah,
That sucks. That sucks. I hope that hope you get through that. Hope it doesn't become like a permanent problem.
yeah. Sciatic nerve. It just sucks. And really, it isn't that the back hurts anymore, man. It's that the nerve goes all the way down your leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, I'll admit this now. One time I took a step down last week from just a step. And when my left foot hit the ground, I didn't know my foot was hit the ground because I couldn't feel it.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
My leg buckled and I fell over on top of myself.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that was the first time Florida had a 6.5 earthquake hit that day. But it's kind of scary at times because it just hurt. Caro, they do have Thunderhawk. I think it's thunderhawklures.com.
Yeah, you might can still use my code at Thunderhawk, Mr. Bass 20. Get 20% off.
Mine too.
You get 30 off yours, don't you? Or,
Get 30 off mine.
yeah, you better use Steve's then. Better use Steve's.
I guess I don't even know if Mike's changed that. I guess someone could go look. But use one of them. Use Mr. Bass 20. Save 20%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have my baits to use in May that I'm trying to finish up, hopefully over the next couple days. And I got a Florida Tackle Club box that's at the mailbox that I haven't gotten yet. So I have that unboxing. And just out of curiosity, how many subscription boxes are you signed up for right now?
I've cut way back, man. I was just kind of like, I'm done with you people.
One, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm with Florida Tackle Club anymore. I didn't cancel, but I haven't gotten anything from them in 3 or 4 months now. So I don't know what's going on there. I didn't cancel it, but I don't have Bass Baits Monthly anymore. I don't have
Bass Baits Monthly isn't even around anymore.
Yeah, it kind of just died, huh?
Yeah, I don't out of nowhere I canceled. Then a couple days later, someone emailed me or private messaged me or DM me and said Bass Baits Monthly is closed down. I'm like, what? How could that be?
Yeah,
I got this last month, and I didn't mind it because it had so much stuff in it.
Yeah.
Then I realized everything that was in it I got 6 months earlier from Monster Bass.
Yeah, I know. It's the same. He's using the exact same supplier. About the only thing he doesn't have in there are Monster Bass lures. He sent me a kind of a list of everything that he had in his box, and it's yeah.
I didn't get it. I didn't renew it this month. So
I'm not doing much of those right now. It's going to have to get more interesting for me to do this. Kick that back up again. I'm still doing my mystery tackle box.
Yep.
I'm still doing my Monster Bass, and that might be it. Lucky, I think I got 1 month left on Lucky.
Oh God, how can you got to get out of that one, dude? You got to get out of that one.
Yeah.
That was so bad.
I know. Jeez.
Well, you want to know what the crazy thing is? We're at this like time right now where there's not a lot of new stuff coming out because everyone's starting to gear up towards ICAST in July. We had Ken on, and we could have we didn't hit something up that we should have. He was with American Bait Works at Gross Savant.
Oh.
And he got like everything that's going to come out before it comes out. all the new frogs, all that stuff. So we could have talked to him about some of the new stuff. He probably couldn't have shown us, but he could have talked about it a little bit more. So this is like that lull in the calm before the storm before ICAST. So I know Tackle Warehouse sent me something. I don't know what's in the box, but Tackle Warehouse sent me a box I'm supposed to get tomorrow. And then I have a, like, Chase Bates sent me a bunch of those new Flexi Frogs.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this, each one of them's pre-rigged.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can see it. That saves you a little money there. Don't have to buy either hook and rig it.
Yeah, so pre-rigged.
What? Speaking of monthly boxes, that reminded me. There's a new mystery tackle box Guggen Squad quarterly crate that's going to start coming out.
How much is that?
So it comes out once a quarter. It's 100% Guggen products. So it's only Guggen. It's a Guggen crate.
Okay.
Once a quarter, $100 or more worth of Guggen products for $79.99. Oh yeah, that's nice. They're limiting it. They're doing like kind of what 6 Sense is doing. They're only going to make so many per month, and when they're gone, they're gone. So starting in May, Scottsboro swim bait. Yeah, I like those. I actually had some of those. I fished those at Lake of the Ozarks. But starting in May, you Guggen nuts can get you a Guggen crate every quarter. How about that? What's that? That's like some sort of a flapping.
Yeah, that's the new goat toads.
Oh, okay. The goat toads. Nice.
So I have a bunch of stuff I gotta get done, but just hard to get done right now. That's all. So
right on.
The goat toads. I'll be really honest. The goat toads is really, really, really good.
Yeah, I believe it. You can actually take the big goat and put it on the back of a buzz bait, and it comes across the top of the water just like a frog.
Yeah.
So now that they've actually got frog legs on the goat, that's pretty cool.
And I do have a slobber knocker. I just can't show it.
Yep. Not allowed. Oh, here's a couple of new baits I showed last night on my live. Look,
yeah.
Brandon.
The other one, by the way. What was the other one?
The other one, this is the Exo Ned, and this is called the Vile Minnow.
So I would like to use that one.
This is your color right here, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that. This is black and blue with gold. They call it Junebug gold, but it's really a black and blue with gold in it. And that's even what I said on the show last night is, this is Steve's bait right here.
Yeah,
that's his color.
No, I mean I love throwing flukes.
Look at how long the fluke tail is on this thing.
Is it vertical so it will swim like this? Yeah.
It's like that.
I see what it is.
Horizontal. It's horizontal.
I wonder how that tail works. Does it have like a hook, belly hook area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here.
Dude, I love that's really one of my favorite ways to fish.
And the Vile Minnow, has that stinky stuff that's supposed to be good. So yeah. That's a good color. I like it too. Junebug gold. Junebug gold flake.
Cool.
I think this Exo net is really cool though. That's because I'm a Ned rig fisherman. I know you're not as big into Ned rigging as I am, but I think this is going to be a really, really nice Ned rig.
Yeah, that'll a lot of water displacement there at the end too.
Yeah.
That would be awesome on a jig head, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind
For
of stuff I
sure.
like to throw that stuff. So yeah, just little things, and getting ready for May and stuff like that.
Derek says Ned rigs are stupid.
Derek,
Well, they're not stupid if you want to catch fish.
Derek and I just become best friends. Yes.
Let's face it, it's definitely not the style for some folks, and no doubt about it. There's some people just are not made.
Just trying to keep things going. Oh, I got a prototype lure I can show. I think I might have showed you this. This is the new Sabile swim bait.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're going to come like this. Well, that is like, I bet you this is 2 ounces. And then this one doesn't have any weight at all.
Oh, okay. I like it. Are they going to keep the red eyes on it?
I don't know. It swims really well, but when you swim it, it has this nice little roll like this. It's awesome in the water. But this one, as soon as this one sits, it sits like that on the bottom.
Oh, very nice.
But this is, I don't even have a rod to throw this. It's so damn heavy.
You said it's 6 ounces?
It might be 3 ounces. I don't even know which one I grabbed.
Wow.
I kind of just grab things and then take them home with me. I think I want this.
Heck yeah. All right. So I think next week we don't have anybody scheduled yet. So you guys are just going to have to be surprised.
Oh, no. We're going to have Patrick Walters.
Oh, Patrick is coming on?
Oh, yeah. He'll if he doesn't have fishing, he'll come on. He's a good dude. He did. It might have been a little late to text him. That wasn't that bad. Bobby said, thank you for having us. Come on anytime. So hopefully we can get Walters. But if we can't have Walters, what's his name will be there too. I would say we could get Justin, but he'll be fishing next week. So
yeah.
Harold, I found some dart spins for $2 each. Dude, buy those. That's a good price.
That's for sure.
That's a great price. And you want to know what? That's like 15 cents more than they cost them to make.
Yeah, that is wholesale pricing right there.
Yeah.
Discount.
And those dart spins, I'm not joking. You can fish those anywhere, anytime. They're great fit. They're great bait. I mean, for years that was all we were throwing with Patrick and I when we were testing them. So
yeah, Derek's asking, have we seen the Shimmer Swimmer 2.0? There it is.
So have you used that at all?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Now,
I fished the crap out of it, and I've totally pretty much destroyed the entire pack. And they were catching.
Does the tail go like this, or does it go like this?
It goes like this. It's got kind of a wild, yeah, like that. And this color is called Natural, and it's a great color for where I live.
Yeah,
it's got this foil in it, that gives it some flash. But the only thing I don't like about it is this part at the head where the foil is. If you've got a big bait keeper like this, let me show you.
Yeah,
it tears it up really quick. You gotta. But yeah, the Shimmer Swimmer 2.0, and then they have the Shimmer Shad as well, which is their little drop shot product, which is right here.
Have you ever thought about putting just a drop of Gorilla Glue or Crazy Glue at the top of your thing, and it'll save those at the top?
Yeah, I have thought of that. You can also use Mendit to fix this stuff.
Oh, you can.
Because the thing about it is the rest of this bait is very durable. I don't know how many fish I caught on these, but a lot. And it did no problem, man. They held up really, really good. It's just the front piece. Like here I got one on the chatterbait, and it's still intact.
It looks like a great bait.
It is. I think it is. I'm real happy with my first day out on the water. I probably fished 8 hours with these 5, and they lasted me all day. Caught fish all day on it.
And that chatterbait was the Strike King one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the yes, it was. Thunder.
Yeah.
And, cricket.
It's a great bait.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right.
that's it.
Well, we're done. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Probably get together with you guys Saturday night for the spin to win. And then we'll have some sort of an awesome guest next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully by that time, Steve has another week of recovery on his back, and
I fidgeted a couple times tonight.
it wasn't that noticeable actually.
Yeah.
Last week it was a lot more noticeable.
Last week there was a couple times that literally I was in a lot of pain.
I could tell. Yeah.
But cool. Okay.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching the show tonight. Please hit the like button and share the videos and subscribe to the channels if you haven't done so yet. We appreciate the support. All right. Send us off, Steve.
Get the fish on.